Welcome to the Solid Verbal. And now, Dan and Ty.
Dan Rubenstein, welcome back, my friend. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? It is week 8 already. We are here. We've made it halfway through the season.
Yes.
We are now on the back end, so to speak, of the season, my friend. Welcome back.
Thank you very much for having me. As always, I can believe it. It's been a both quick moving, and some weeks move faster than others. Some weeks are slower than others. It has felt like 8 weeks, and it's technically more. We have a week 0 too, so maybe it's more in the 9 range. But yes, I can. I'm excited. This is one of those weeks that I think is spread out really nicely. Like there are obvious headliners, even if there's not a top 5 matchup or top 7 matchup. I'm not sure what the highest ranking one is. Is it Georgia Ole Miss? I think
Georgia Ole Miss is 5 versus 9. Yeah.
5 versus 9. So we do have a top 10 matchup, and that should be extraordinary. But as always, Ty, and I don't know if you want me to get into my weekly nickname here, but I went deep on this one.
Okay.
I went
charge your
deep.
battery for a second.
Please. Okay.
I want to give our folks out there ample opportunity to ready themselves.
Okay. Steel yourselves appropriately.
Exactly. Verballers.com is where you can go if you want to support what Dan and I do. You get episodes without the ads, bonus content, which we drop every Thursday. You can play the game, which I will discuss as we go through here. By the way, you're playing for a $150 Patagonia gift card this week in our game called Run the Board. You also get access to our Discord server where you can chat with other friends and Verballers throughout the course of, the week, the Saturday.
Yep.
All the Saturdays, as much as you want. We've got a teaming community of Verballers that are out there always chatting about whatever is of note in college football and beyond. So with that being said, yes, go back and listen to the Tuesday episode where we did more of a deep dive on Ole Miss, Georgia, Tennessee, Alabama, USC, Notre Dame, anything we did not cover on the Tuesday episode because we only have so many hours to podcast. We will get into that on this here episode. I got a whole list of games. You do as well. We're going to rifle through a whole bunch of them here over the next 45, 60, 75 minutes or so. So ready yourselves accordingly.
Yes.
We will get to Dan's name in a second, but first and foremost, make sure you hit follow or subscribe. If you are new here, if you are just finding out about us, every little bit helps. If you want to leave a star rating, if you want to leave a review, that encourages other people that we're not just a bunch of cranks out here, right, Dan?
That's true.
We're actually doing a little bit of research, actually a lot of research, try and figure this out. Even though my picks have been horrible,
yeah,
I do my fair share of research. I'm just apparently interpreting it all incorrectly now. Hopefully we can turn things around in the second half of the year. Now, with all that being said, that preamble.
Well, I was going to say, we should just pick a random week each season where we only research one extraordinarily random team, where it's very clear, like exceedingly clear, even more so than usual, that we have not even paid a tiny bit of attention to any team over the past couple weeks. And then out of nowhere, I'll say, Air Force, oh my God, right? That it's just, the linebackers are just everywhere.
Right,
And
a full statistical preview, but only one team and only one side of a matchup out
It's just
there.
like they collapse the pocket so much better against Colorado State than they have all season long. And that would be ridiculous, and that'll never happen. But it would make me laugh a little bit. Anyway,
so where are we at in week 8?
We're at week 8, and as you know, I love me some me. And right now in my life, things outside, gray and cloudy, dreary, damp. And then I looked at the forecast for the weekend, Ty. Across this great land, a lot of dreary and damp. A lot of rain in the forecast, which is not ideal, as we can agree. But then I got to thinking, which region best embodies that gray and damp lifestyle? I think it's the Pacific Northwest. I think they have that reputation. So then that's where my mind went. Last week, of course, we had game day. We had that huge Indiana-Oregon game. Perhaps the win of the entirety of Indiana football's history happened in the Pacific Northwest last weekend. Also, what's happening in the Pacific Northwest right now, Seattle's like a big-time baseball hub, right?
Apparently, this is what they tell me.
You got Big Dumper, right? You got the Mariners at the time of recording this. They're up 2-0 in the ALCS, correct?
I have no idea. I have not paid a lick of attention to
They
it.
are.
So this is the first I'm hearing of it. I know they're in it, but that's about it.
Vibes are real good, Seattle-wise. Obviously, the now defending NBA champs couldn't have done it without the city of Seattle, Ty. You understand where I'm going with this? I don't think I need to be as detailed.
I know exactly where you're going with this, yeah.
And then I see University of Washington and also USC making the move to the Midwest for a big game, okay? Pacific Northwest to the Midwest.
Yep.
Then I look national, and I think about a theme of rebounding, Ty. Okay? From either losses or iffy performances, and they need a big pivot this week, okay? I'm thinking Vanderbilt at LSU. I'm thinking Oregon at Rutgers. Michigan hosting Washington, as I mentioned. Oklahoma, Mizzou, ASU, Louisville, TCU, Arkansas, Florida. These are all programs looking for an elite rebound, Ty.
I hear you.
And I thus bring you Seattle Supersonic legend hitting the boards. Welcome to Sigma Saturday.
Look at Sigma hustle on that play.
His fundamentals were exquisite.
There you go. Sigma
I thought
Saturday.
you were just going to go Supersonic Saturday.
No. Too easy. Take it a step further. Sigma Saturday, secure the rebound.
How do I spell that?
It's SECURE, then a space, THE, space, REBOUND. Secure the rebound.
Okay.
Sigma is SIKMA.
Okay.
And by the way, an all-time great draft haircut, Jack Sigma, made the move from Seattle to Milwaukee, West Coast to Midwest. What's more college football than that right now? And had an elite pivot move. Looking for a pivot. Welcome to Sigma Saturday.
Look at Sigma hustle on that play.
His fundamentals were exquisite.
Did you just tell me how to spell secure the rebound?
Yeah,
I know how to
of course
spell
I
secure
did.
the rebound.
You didn't take it. You didn't understand what I was saying. You just looked at me blankly. And
I
so-
have never heard of that player in my life.
You've never heard of Jack Sigma? He's the
Never.
all-time Seattle Supersonics rebounding leader. From small town Illinois to the West Coast, back to the Midwest. Was a pioneer in stretch five centers, Ty.
Great.
Unbelievable player. Legendary Seattle Supersonic Jack Sigma. Secure the rebound.
Sigma Saturday, secure the rebound. You heard it here first on the Solid Verbal.
Really wish Dennis Rodman's name started with an S somewhere. Would have been a more direct path, but here we are.
Here we are. Well, welcome one, welcome all. We have many games to discuss.
Yes.
As I said, go back on the Tuesday episode if you've got a hankering for more intel on Ole Miss, Georgia, Tennessee, Alabama, USC, Notre Dame. We will talk through some of those here. Just in passing, of course, because they are some of the main fixtures for the weekend. But without further ado, since we do have so much to discuss here, Dan.
Dan, time, help. I need picks of the week.
Let's go to 8 p.m. on Fox.
Okay.
Got a little bit of pushback for not talking about this one on the last episode.
Brother will kill brother.
Continue.
It's the Holy War, Dad.
Yeah, buddy.
Holy Wars.
Number 23, Utah on the road at number 15, BYU. BYU is a 3.5 point home underdog. Not only did we not talk about the Holy War, give me that sound one more time, Dan.
Holy Wars.
We didn't even give a recap of the thrilling double overtime victory by BYU over the Arizona Wildcats on the road.
That's true. It was an all-time great. I don't know. Maybe you should win. Me? No, maybe you should win. I insist. It was a really fun back and forth that probably shouldn't have gone to overtime, but all the same, really strong way to pull it out. In the desert, never easy for BYU.
I constantly undervalue BYU.
Okay.
And I tried to spend a little bit of time this week reflecting on why. The conclusion I came to is that BYU, at least on offense, does not fit neatly into any box whatsoever.
Okay.
Their offensive coordinator, Aaron Roderick, basically will run anything at any time, whatever it takes to win.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking about this in preparation for the show and wondering why you don't like BYU more, because that seemingly adheres to the one rule of Dan Rubenstein's life.
Which is?
It doesn't need to be pretty. It just needs to work.
Get buckets. Yeah.
You should love BYU, don't you?
I have thoroughly enjoyed watching BYU from a pure entertainment standpoint. You know, the West Virginia game, I watched more of the Arizona game than I had the last couple games. And their opponents haven't been incredible this year. Like, what are you going to glean from BYU Stanford? You're going to glean entertainment. That Bear Bachmeier has a lot of zazz to him. Wearing number 47? Yeah.
47.
It's great. Great head of hair. Great name. The Bear. But yeah, I'm entertained by BYU. I just don't have a concept for what they are or not based on, the sort of mediocre schedule thus far. They were, I think, in triple digits in terms of strength of schedule so far.
That's right. So, I mean, they're 6-0. Whatever they've been doing
great
has worked. I cannot put them in any kind of schematic box because that's just not how they play. But it was a good test last week on the road in the desert, as you said, double overtime win over Arizona on the road. They are getting solid quarterback play from the Bear.
Mm-hmm.
He is a freshman. Remember, he got that job like 4 weeks ago, whenever it was that Jake Retzlaff decided he was leaving BYU. He has already gotten 7 rushing touchdowns so far this season. They've also got LJ Martin, who has kind of been a feature of the offense, ripping off about 6 yards per carry. So it's all been very good on the BYU side. This is always a close game, though, isn't it? It always feels like this is a close game.
Yeah.
And it's like a standing rule since we've been doing this podcast way the hell back when. I have always taken the points in the Holy War, even if I am wrong.
Right.
I take the points in the Holy War because it just always feels like this is a slugfest of some kind. Doesn't matter where the game is. Doesn't matter what the teams look like. This is one of those games where, I'm not going to play the throwing the records out the window thing because one team's 5-1, the other is 6-0. But truly, we have had years where one team is much worse than the other, and you do want to throw the records out because this is just always close, always hard fought, and always very, very contentious.
Totally agree. It's also been a game the last couple matchups that has been at least partially defined by Utah not really having their starting quarterback. I think the last meeting, it was a Brandon Rose Utah game with Cam Rising on the shelf, and I want to say it was a Charlie Brewer game 4 years ago before Cam Rising took over that job. So we want to see both of these teams at full strength, and obviously you can make the case for BYU. They are not starting the quarterback they anticipated starting this season. So in that case, it's been nice that Bear Bachmeier has started since game one and has not been thrust into something and appears to be the guy for this year. The best of him looks like a really good quarterback. I just don't know how much I trust BYU in this moment, especially coming off of that game, traveling back short week just because it was a road game late Saturday night and then playing a rivalry game in state with a ton of emotion. This one's really testing my home dog, quality defense, raucous crowd, because I believe in all of those things. When I went back and looked at this game, or looked at both of these teams, what they do well, what they might struggle doing, it again just feels like a 1-point game. It again feels like something that's going to come down to a last-minute drive. I have Utah winning this game 24-23. I just think there's going to be pixie dust going both ways. I'm going to take the points in this one. I'm going to stick with that credo of mine, but I don't feel good about BYU just because I think Utah's been a little bit more tested. And by the way, in that test, they lost by 77 points to Texas Tech.
That's
so
right.
that's not ideal either. But
Yeah.
there is something I trust right now about Utah with the ball, 3rd and 3s, getting off the field on defense. I have a little bit more trust in Utah in this moment, but I don't have a lot behind that.
Yeah, to me, it looks like a close game again.
Yeah.
And these are two outstanding defenses. These are two offenses that are probably going to try to grind it out on the ground to some extent. The feeling that I can't shake is the one that I had a couple weeks back with Devin Dampier and the way he looked against Texas Tech. Now, I understand that's probably not fair. He was dealing with an ankle. He barely practiced in the run-up to that football game. So it's not fair to lump him in as any kind of bad quarterback because of that outing. But
Agreed.
He looked bad. He looked lost in that matchup. The rest of his season has been great. it is undeniable that he has been really, really good, but I cannot shake that.
Okay.
So I look at this one, I say, tough road spot, rivalry game, quarterback I like but don't trust, and then on top of it, the long-standing rule of taking the points in the Holy War. BYU, home dog of the week, baby.
Look at you.
The Yakos, home dog of the week.
I'm not sure they went outright, but I feel pretty good about them covering. I've got 23-21 somebody
Yeah.
in this game, and frankly, it doesn't even really matter. It doesn't matter because it's going to be close. It's going to be very tight at the end, but BYU is going to cover that spread.
I would set the line at 1.5 completely disastrous and inadvisable picks in this game total. I love the over if I'm setting it at 1.5, that there are going to be 2 picks between these 2 quarterbacks that are going to, it's somebody's basically being sacked and decides to throw it straight up in the air for no reason in the red zone. It feels like a certainty in this game.
What kind of odds can we get on a quarterback deciding that he needs to try and throw it lefty? Kind of in that same vein.
Bear seems likelier. Like, he just seems like he's willing to take more chances with how he decides to move the ball forward. But
I think
don't
he
hate
would
it.
probably, the odds would be on the Bear.
Yeah.
Because I'm seeing this with other first-time starting quarterbacks. I mean, many of them have been very good. But, like, the toast of the town right now is C.J. Carr. If you told me that C.J. Carr got himself into a bit of a bind against USC this coming weekend and decided, I'm going to try and throw it lefty to avoid a sack, 100% would believe it. 100%. And there are other guys around college football. We might see it this week out of Ethan Grunkemeyer playing for Penn State on the road at Iowa. They're going to come at him. Who's to say? You're going to see a couple interesting throws this weekend. I can guarantee it.
Is C.J. Carr the current toast of the town of all of college football in the circles you run in?
The circles that I run in?
Yeah.
No, what circles do I run in? No, listen, he's very good. But clearly, the Notre Dame experiment to put him as a starting quarterback has worked out pretty well. That's what I'm saying.
In the circles I run in, it's Lunch Winfield from Louisiana. But I run in a very specific kind of circle. Okay. What about Trinidad Chambliss? I mean,
Trinidad Chambliss, yeah, there are a lot of toasts. I'm just,
in terms of, like, CJ Carr was a known guy, and there's some guys that have come out of nowhere. Okay, next. So we agree? We agree?
We agree.
Okay,
we do agree.
okay.
High noon ESPN, number 12, Georgia Tech on the road at the Dukies. Dukies actually favored by 1.5, 2 points in this game. Is a huge ACC game, Dan. It's so huge that actually I forgot to put it on the document initially.
Sure, a nooner.
It is a nooner, but the winner of this game could end up with a leg up in the ACC conference title game chase.
Sure.
This is a pretty big one. Potentially the tiebreaker, which I definitely think is going to come into effect here as we get down the stretch in the ACC season. This one, I think, looms pretty large. So I know we both have a fond feeling when we think of Georgia Tech.
Okay.
Duke has been relatively anonymous. And you were the one who put it on the radar, I think, for the Verballerhood way back when we did our ACC preview. And your sentiment at the time was, look, it's Duke. I get it. We're not used to talking about Duke as any kind of football thing. They're like Vandy in that sense. But if you look at the roster, if you look at what they've got, if you look at the coach and what they've done, there is a lot of reason to believe in Duke. Maybe not as the top of the ACC, but just as a very solid, dependable ACC team that could challenge some of the guys at the top.
Right.
I think that's where we're at with this team right now. They are a 2-point favorite. Georgia Tech is the number 12 team in the country coming into Raleigh, or Durham, excuse me. Oh my gosh. And so are you a believer that the Dukies can pull off this one? It technically would not be an upset.
No,
but
I think they're favored, so I guess I'm a believer on some level, yeah.
But no, I mean, this in and of itself, I think, would be significant for Duke football, right? It's not Mike Elko and Riley Leonard anymore.
Right.
This is a completely different regime. It's a completely different roster. Beating the number 12 team at home, whether you're favored or not, would in its own right be a significant step for Manny Diaz and the Duke football program.
Agree. Yeah, especially because their sort of headline games thus far, notably the Illinois game early, and I think it was Tulane, really didn't go well. They beat up on a Syracuse team that I don't believe had Steve Angeli at the time, right? It was a Ricky Collins game.
Ricky
for
Collins.
Duke. And they've sort of flown under the radar otherwise. I mean, is there any, like they beat Cal late at night, and their receivers have been good, but otherwise, like the NC State win is good, but NC State appears to be like kind of an average team right now, if that. So they've flown under the radar. And the big thing with Duke right now is they can run the ball. They were extraordinarily bad at running the ball last year. So they're adding to the ways in which they can win. And now their pass defense hasn't always been incredible, but the fact that they can usually stop the run, are well coached, usually run the ball, are absolutely quality, pretty good, whatever you want to describe Darian Mensah at quarterback. I just think they're ticking enough boxes, and it's enough of a decent matchup against Georgia Tech at home that I actually feel good about Duke in this spot. I think it's going to be a very fun back and forth, and the score wasn't even indicative. Like Georgia Tech won that game very comfortably against Virginia Tech last week. It was sort of a fourth quarter garbage time touchdown for Virginia Tech there. So they were basically 3 touchdowns better last week. I just think there is something about the number of ways Duke can win. The fact that it's at home, the fact that they, yes, have taken time to get used to things, especially on offense this year, but seem to be rounding into their own. I like Duke here. I think they'll be able to get off the field enough against Georgia Tech. Not all the time, but I like that it's home. I mean, the Nooner thing doesn't bother me that much because I don't think there's ever a terrible amount of chaotic energy in Duke home games. So I don't think they're going to take a step back there. I have Duke winning this one 27-21.
Yeah, I mean, more to the point about Duke playing well but kind of being anonymous.
Yeah.
Our friend Brett Ciancia from Pick Six Previews, who was on this show, as part of his offering Pick Six Plus, which he sends out every Tuesday, he kind of keeps a running tabulation of teams and how they do relative to his formula.
Right.
And his game grader has Duke as the 11th best team over their last 4 games.
Okay.
Just in that span of time, over the last 4 games, they've been playing really well. And, you know, he does all the opponent adjusted stuff as well. But just as a measure for where Duke is at as a team, it seems as if they have come into their own.
Right.
And so then you layer on top of it, well, they can run the ball. Running the ball at Duke, by the way, this year, given the fact that they lost Star Thomas, their running back to Tennessee, that I think in and of itself is a measure of what Manny Diaz has done.
Yeah.
He's done a good job with this roster, and he's done a good job with this team. Duke is also coming off a bye, which I don't think you mentioned.
Correct, they are.
So there's a bit of a rest advantage there. I mean, we both like Georgia Tech, but for as much as I like Georgia Tech, I like the rest advantage. I like the fact that Duke can run on them, and I like the fact that at least it seems, based on the metrics that I've been looking at, like they've been playing pretty well. I got it at 30-27 Duke.
Wow.
Give me the Dukies.
Yeah. I mean, look, if Georgia Tech is running the ball reasonably well, it's going to be very difficult for Duke because that's not like I mentioned that they have been running the ball and Duke has stopped the run. They do give up some big runs.
Yes, they do.
That's the big thing. And it's what Hosley is stepping up alongside Jamal Haynes for Georgia Tech. Obviously, we know what Haynes King can do. But that would be the concern, that there has been some wide open lanes against this against this Duke team. Otherwise, though, I think Duke is just too solid at home, and I think they match up really well.
Let's stay at high noon, and let's go to LSU at Vandy.
Okay.
This one's on ABC. LSU is number 10. Vandy is number 17. Vandy is favored by 3.
Yeah.
I went back and looked deep into the annals of this matchup. You've got to go back 35 years to find the last time that Vanderbilt beat LSU. It was back in 1990. I also searched a couple databases, all the ones I could find, to see if I could find a time in which Vanderbilt was favored.
Yes.
If they have been favored, it was before they started making any of these databases because I could not find it.
I actually think I saw, I want to say it was Cole Kubik who highlighted this. It was like 44 years was the last time Vanderbilt has been favored against a ranked team.
Against a ranked team, okay.
Yes, or maybe, it'll say this says in fist time, which is a whole different conversation. In first time, favored versus ranked foe, number 17 Vandy ranked ready for number 10 LSU. So maybe it's First time ever.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And what's even crazier to me is kind of like the cognitive dissonance that is required to properly analyze LSU at this point. Because you and I watch all the games, whether it's live, whether it's after the fact. We both have all the numbers. I tend to rely on the stats a lot this time of year because I'm a romantic, Dan. I see somebody on tape, I like them, I develop a relationship with that person.
Totally.
If only when it comes to picking games. I'm very easily influenced.
You're a romantic.
I look at the stats probably a little too much this time of year. I am throwing the stats out the window.
Play the
for
sound.
This week.
Play the sound.
I-
Do you have
I
it at
don't
the
laugh-
ready somewhere?
I'll pull it up here.
Okay.
Well, before we get done with our little tangent,
Okay.
I can pull that up. But for this game especially, I threw the stats out with LSU, and I just went back and I rewatched as many LSU games as I could find from this season.
Okay.
You were on this a while back. I give you credit for it. You were the one who warned me about this, but LSU does not look right on offense.
They don't look right, man.
They don't. And for a while, it was fine to just sort of paint it as, well, look, their schedule has been brutal. And it has been brutal. It's been a very tough schedule. But beyond that, Garrett Nussmeier doesn't look good. And I don't know if it's just supporting cast, offensive line, kind of injured, like whatever. It's probably a whole multitude of things with him. But he doesn't look good. They cannot run the ball, despite what Brian Kelly told a reporter angrily upon being asked the question.
Yeah.
I know he walked it back, but whatever. They can't run the ball with any kind of consistency. And weirdly, it is just such a 180 that we have turned now with LSU. Talk about putting your mind in a pretzel that the defense is now carrying the load.
Mm-hmm.
Again, you can chalk up some of this to a tougher schedule. I get that. But, dog, we're halfway through the year at this point. You kind of are what you are, right?
I think so. Yes, by and large. Unless there's some sort of crippling injury that you're working back from. I agree.
Right. So the big problem for LSU moving forward, and like zoom out at that 30,000 feet beyond this game, the schedule does not get easier. Okay? This week will be tough in its own right. We're going to talk about that, but they still got A&M. They're on the road at Bama. They're on the road at Oklahoma. So they got to figure this out. Otherwise, I have no idea which direction this season is going to go. My takeaway after watching so much LSU over the last 48 hours is exactly what I said a few minutes ago.
Okay.
Something is not right. The offense doesn't feel like it's clicking. And I have a really hard time backing that side of this when I know they're going into a setting like Vanderbilt where they're going to be, I shouldn't say upset-minded because they're favored again. This is a Duke situation, right? But at the same time, beating LSU symbolically would be a very, very big deal for this team.
Agree.
So I'm having a real hard time backing LSU here.
I think that's reasonable. I'm taking Vanderbilt. To me, it's a math problem too, right? You need to score 21 points to beat LSU. LSU's defense makes that difficult, and that's great for LSU. But the game is in Vandy with a week off. This is going to be an electric atmosphere relative to Vanderbilt. And Vanderbilt's just a pain. We saw them struggle at times, obviously, against Alabama a couple weeks ago, but that was in Tuscaloosa. And I think we watch LSU, and this is to your point and two things we've talked about, that you watch Garrett Nussmeier, and I think he's got a little bit more zip on his passes than he's had earlier on in the season. It looks like physically is maybe turning a corner from all of his whatever malady he may have. I don't know if they were talking about hips, I want to say, have been sore. Torso was Brian Kelly's word. I don't trust this offensive line. The receivers are by and large good, but beat up. You watch Tradez Green, the tight end for LSU, and you think, how could anybody ever cover this dude? This dude is legit incredible. And yet the offense is not. They can't use the gravity. Like, he looks like a power forward. It looks like they are playing Jack Sikma.
Sikma Saturday.
Thank you very much. Who is a center, not a power forward. But he just looks unguardable at his best. And they can't find a way to consistently move the ball and succeed in the red zone. And something always just kind of goes wrong. They always have 2 out of 3 things working well. The receivers and quarterback are in sync. The offensive line is terrible. Take your pick. And I'm just not with that on the road. Not that Vanderbilt is the most impossible place to play in the SEC, but I think with the way Vanderbilt plays at or near its best, they'll be able to move the ball enough, not a ton, but enough to win this game 23-17.
Yeah, I think Vandy's a better team right now, honestly.
Yeah.
And to your point, this is something that we talked about on the bonus episode that we did a couple weeks ago. You can go back on forballers.com and listen to the Vandy deep dive. But there is a question here of what the play style is going to do to LSU. I think it's going to put them in a box because they play slow.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing is built around efficiency. They are third in the nation in points per drive on offense, 123rd in plays per game. So they play slow, but they play efficiently, and they get the most out of every drive.
Right.
That is how they are built. They are going to eat the clock. They're going to force LSU to try and get the most out of every play, and I think that poses a real problem here.
Agree.
So for me, I actually think that number is right on the money, the 3, Vandy -3. I think it's something like 24-21, but I got Vandy here.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a lower scoring game. I think they're going to play exactly the way they have played all year. It's going to be slow. It is going to be as raucous an environment as you get in Nashville for a game like this. I like Vandy. I think they're better.
By the way, that 21 number that you just mentioned with LSU would be the highest number that they would have reached by this point against a Power 4 opponent. 21.
Crazy, right? Absolutely crazy.
It's been a full-on failure of an offensive year for LSU.
Let's stay in that early block.
Okay.
12:45 kickoff because the SEC network likes to be a little bit different. It is number 14 Oklahoma on the road at South Carolina. Oklahoma is a 5.5-point road favorite. John Mateer said this week that he is, quote, a full go for the game, that he felt good health-wise, at least after the Red River rivalry. The bad news is that this offense scored 6 points in the Red River rivalry a week ago. Looking back against better teams so far this season, and included in that, I would say Michigan, Auburn, obviously Texas, Oklahoma's offense has not exactly set the world on fire. I don't think they're going to lose this week, but there are games on the schedule coming up against Ole Miss, Tennessee, Alabama, Mizzou, LSU. A lot of good defense is going to be on this schedule moving forward. So what I would advise all my clients Monday morning, sell your Oklahoma stock, because I think we get a win today, or win this week, not today.
Yeah.
I think we get a win this week on Saturday, and then moving forward with the defenses that remain, I would not be on Oklahoma for any of those games.
Do you remember who
they might win,
Yeah.
but I'm not feeling the offense against any of those squads.
Do you remember who Paul DePodesta was? Baseball executive?
Of course. That I do know.
Okay.
Yes.
Not Jack Sikma, but Paul DePodesta?
I do know Paul
What
DePodesta.
a screwy sports brain you have. So he had a quote when he was helping to run the Cleveland Browns that what he tells his owners, in this case it was Jimmy Haslam, is you have to have the stomach to ride the roller coaster, right?
Yeah, and by the way, a baseball guy who was hired by the Browns, which also explains something
totally
if we
true
want to talk about the Cleveland Browns. But continue.
I think the point remains that if you're going to go with a specific vision, you got to ride the vision in good times and bad. And my vision, of course, is home dog, quality defense, good defense, whatever you want to call it, raucous crowd, again, as an underdog. This one pushed me, Ty. This one really pushed me with South Carolina as a home dog here against Oklahoma. Oklahoma has the clear better defense in this matchup. But also, Oklahoma's offense is very quietly garbage, at least when John Mateer is beat up. And going on the road, you know I have a soft spot for Williams-Brice here.
Don't do this.
Any year.
Don't do this. I warned you with the Auburn-Georgia game a week ago. Do not do this
I would
again.
pick Auburn again, Ty. I would pick Auburn 100 times out of 100 times to win that game.
Don't do this to yourself.
South Carolina is going to win this game 14-13. I'm not locking it up. I'm not crazy.
14-13, good hell.
14-13, an absolute rock fight. At least one ejection in this game.
That would be fun.
Depending on what it's for, I guess.
Depending on what yeah, we should qualify.
At least one comms truck being taken out on the sideline.
Is Joey Aguilar in this game?
You never know.
Okay.
He is everywhere. He's omnipresent. Yeah, I'm going to take South Carolina here. I'm going to take South Carolina. I think Oklahoma traveling across, not the whole country, but it's a sizable road trip. I don't think South Carolina is good, but I don't think they're irredeemably awful. So I'm going to go South Carolina to will forward an ugly win against Oklahoma 14-13.
I mean, this would be a Cocktober miracle is what this would be.
A Cocktober miracle, absolutely.
A true Cocktober surprise. We warned you about Cocktober since August. That's why I bought the domain.
Mm-hmm.
LSU last week for South Carolina, Oklahoma this week. They got Alabama next. They're at Ole Miss the first of Tyvember, which is what we're going to call that now.
Yeah.
You could make a legit case that this is a 4-8 South Carolina team after this season, but apparently Dan Rubenstein is not feeling it because you've got a big time upset here. This would be a huge deal.
Yeah.
Huge deal. 14-13. Neither team can run the ball.
No, South Carolina is merely bad, whereas Oklahoma is abysmal.
I think this is an interesting matchup because, again, neither team can run. The problem is that I don't think South Carolina can really pass either.
No, they changed their offensive line coach. Maybe there's some, new ideas.
Like
behind
their
the scenes.
overall success rate on offense is 119th in the nation.
Totally true.
They're heavily penalized. Their red zone offense has been a disaster. To my eye, it does not seem like a great formula against an Oklahoma team that has basically been a brick wall on defense.
So they need to create offense out of nothing, right? South Carolina?
They do.
And what do we call their quarterback?
We do call him Lenoris the Creator.
That's exactly right.
So you're thinking this is a Lenoris the Creator Cocktober surprise.
Correct.
I've got this at 27-17 Oklahoma. You've got it at 14-13 in favor of South Carolina at home.
Confirmed.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. We disagree. Let's move on. Let's talk about this one at 4 p.m. on Fox.
I'm ready.
Number 7, Texas Tech on the road at Arizona State. Arizona State, an 8.5-point home dog, Dan. Got some real quarterback injury questions coming into this one. Sam Leavitt did not play a week ago for ASU. It was a Jeff Sims game. Jeff Sims game, yada, yada, yada. They lost by 32.
Mm-hmm.
Did I just yada, 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 a 32-point loss? Damn well believe I did. It was a Jeff Sims game.
Yes.
That said, Sam Leavitt was getting first-team reps in practice this week. He was in the boot before that. Looks to me like he's going to play.
He was getting practice reps the Utah week, though, as well, and couldn't go.
I believe so, correct.
Yeah.
Correct. But it sounds as if vibes are good there. So we'll see. I don't know. And then, yes, Baron Morton did pick up a knock last week. This time it's his right ankle. X-rays, MRIs, everything's negative. Joey McGuire says he's day-to-day. I know that's surprising to you to hear that Baron Morton is hurt.
I know. I wrote it down on the legal pad just to remember. It happens so infrequently.
Texas Tech's been awesome.
Correct.
This year. They are 6-0 against the point spread. They have not been in a close game yet, let's say with like 5 minutes left. Right? We just haven't. They've killed everybody.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the opposite has sort of been true for ASU, at least against Power 4 teams, right? It's been a close win or a close loss or the Jeff Sims game from last week, which we're not going to count as part of this because it ruins my argument. But two teams that I think are diametrically opposed in more ways than one. Who do you got?
I don't know. How are you supposed to pick this game?
I don't know. That's why I threw it to you first.
You got to say like, oh, well, if Sam Leavitt's playing, he's probably going to be pretty beat up.
Let's assume that he's playing.
But
let's assume that he's playing. Kenny Dillingham said this. All right. I was reading the report earlier. Kenny Dillingham said he was out there. He was taking practice with the ones. He looked much more himself. That was the quote.
Yeah. Great.
Whatever that means to you, that's what he said.
Okay. So I believe his winning streak at home continues, right? Sam Leavitt hasn't lost a game as a starter in Tempe.
Okay.
I believe so.
I have no idea.
Okay. You can fact check me on that.
I'll believe you.
The best of Sam Leavitt, though, is a Sam Leavitt who kind of throws himself around, right? He's not somebody who is sort of a statue picking up. He's not Rudy Carpenter, shout out Rudy Carpenter, wherever you are.
Brock Osweiler.
Yeah. Sam Keller. Take your pick of legendary Arizona State cement quarterbacks.
They're all the same quarterback. The only difference is Osweiler was 6'7".
Yeah, the rest were 6'5". So he's physical. He's a dual threat. He makes plays. He improvises. I just don't know what you can do if you're in a walking boot every so often and suddenly have to play and do that against the Texas Tech defense. That's concerning to me. As much as I like Arizona State's home field advantage in this spot, and this is a Texas Tech was at home against Kansas, correct?
Correct, yeah.
So not a second straight road game, but it's a tough road spot for Texas Tech, but they have been road tested with their win over Utah. And ASU is not emphatic even when they win. There's just something off about ASU as a pronounced victor this year. And so I'm taking Texas Tech. I don't love it. I don't love it because of the quarterback injuries, but after last week, if we see a limited or don't even see Sam Levitt at all, I think Texas Tech is just, I'm going to ride the hot hand. And with how they're getting after the passer, with how they're running the ball, even when the quarterback is struggling like Will Hammond did late in that game, I don't know. It's a big number, but if you're telling me there's a possibility that this is a Jeff Sims offense, my shoulders get a little bit more relaxed in picking Texas Tech. So I'm going to go with that pick, but I have no concept for which quarterback will play and how healthy they will or won't be.
Well, I mean, this is a perfect setup for me. Thank you.
Of course.
I could not have asked for a better setup. We don't script this show. We just have bullet points at best, right?
Yep.
What I wrote down, though, was with respect, specifically, I'm spitting on my microphone, excuse me, to Texas Tech.
Yeah.
Love it or lev it. I brought this up in the preview way back when.
Yeah.
Love it or lev it. I happen to love Texas Tech here.
Okay.
I've got it at 35-21 Texas Tech here. Because, the quarterback injuries are going to get a lot of attention. But something that I think is only now getting the attention it deserves is what Texas Tech has done on the ground and on defense. Cameron Dickey, Jacoby Williams have been awesome on the ground. For me, this has been the story of the Tech offense so far this season. We talked all offseason, how are they going to replace Taj Brooks?
Right.
They've adapted quite well. Cameron Dickey's really good so far this season. And on defense, obviously they went out, they brought in a bunch of new guys from the transfer portal. Not talking the biggest name guys at every position, but just guys that they thought could make them better. It was a really smart approach with how they attacked the portal, and that also is paying dividends.
Yes.
It'd be really easy to tell this like it's some sort of Cinderella story with Texas Tech. They're not used to being here. They're not used to being in the top 10. They haven't finished ranked in like ever. This is not a Cinderella story. They are not a Cinderella. There is an 86% chance now, I looked just before we hit record, of Texas Tech finishing with at least 11 wins. And if they get past ASU, I got them in the playoff. You pencil them into the playoff at that point.
Sure.
This is a really good team.
Well, it's not a Cinderella story. It's a Cody Campbell story. Yeah.
Well, it's a Cody Campbell story, but
Cody
whatever.
Campbellella. Yeah.
Whatever. This is a really good team. This is probably going to be a playoff team.
Yes.
And if you have not yet familiarized yourself with Texas Tech, this weekend is a perfect opportunity. 35-21 is my final. Give me the Red Raiders.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's somewhere in that zone. I in my mind, I said 34-20, 34-17, somewhere in there.
Let's do a few rapid fire games, okay?
I'm ready.
3:30 FS1. It is UNLV on the road at Boise State. This is a very big Mountain West matchup. Boise State is favored by 12.5 points, Dan. I have had so many people email me personally. I don't know how they got my personal email. I guess I don't hide it that well, but email me personally, send me DMs.
Yeah.
Dan Mullen to Penn State. What do I think?
Oh, he came out and talked about it, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, he came out and said, I'm going to be at UNLV next year. No, thanks.
Grew up outside Philly, went to college outside Philly, doing a very good job with UNLV this season. Let's keep it there. Right. I don't want Dan Mullen. Okay, I can talk about that separately, but I'll take him as OC if he wants to come and call offense. But okay. UNLV deserves our attention here because they have been very, very good this season. This game to me feels like a shootout. So when you say 12.5 points, two offenses that I think are going to be able to score on the other opposing defense, I take the points kind of like instinctively, whatever the word is. I'm on UNLV plus the points. I do think Boise wins, but I think this is like 38-31, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Really?
I do.
Okay. I think Boise wins this game going away. I think Boise's going to win this game by 3 touchdowns plus. Okay.
Wow.
It's in Boise. UNLV is coming off of a crazy 51-48 shootout against Air Force.
A look-ahead shootout, to be clear.
I
against Air
guess.
Force.
But if Air Force is dropping damn near 50 on you, and Boise State does a good job of scoring points against anybody not named Notre Dame, essentially, since week 1 in South Florida, I just think the Boise offense is going to be enough, and I think they're going to just, I don't know if it's a full crock potting, but I don't know. I think, what's the number again?
12.5.
12.5? Yeah, 3 touchdowns plus. So I have this
I
game.
mean, the good news for Boise is that UNLV's defense does have the power to create another Ashton Ginty in this game.
Yeah, 45-21 Broncos.
You know, like, I don't know if it's going to be Dylan Riley or Sire Gaines. Either way,
Yeah.
UNLV does not stop the run, and Boise's probably just going to do a lot of that. So I understand the logic there, but
It's also the week after a service academy. Yeah.
It is. There's a little bit of body blow going on here for
Mhm.
sure, but I see this one as a back and forth shootout.
UNLV
So
might
Boise
have the
wins.
worst run defense in America.
It's bad. I know. That's what I said. They can make the new Ginty this game.
So they're just, the good thing about UNLV is they do call a good third down defense. They have been surprisingly successful of bending and not breaking individually on drives, but no, I'm on Boise here big.
12 o'clock on the Fox network. It is Washington on the road at Michigan. Michigan favored by 6.
Yeah.
I think Washington's really good. I think there's a chance they win, but this is a body clock game, right?
It is a body clock game. Yep.
So there's a lot of travel here. It's going to feel like 9 a.m. start time for the Huskies. We've already seen some cross-country travel wreak havoc. Remember, they went to Maryland a couple weeks ago. They needed that comeback in order to win.
Oh, so, excuse you. In order to win their first Big Ten road game, period.
Period.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm on the points here. I just like Washington probably more than I should. I don't think they win, but I'm on Washington plus the 6.
Okay. I disagree. And I'm going to pull up the exact weather forecast, by the way.
Oh, God.
In
here we
Ann
go.
Arbor on Saturday. It's not bad. There is a chance of rain, but it's just going to be sort of chilly football, beautiful weather in this one. So
Okay.
it's not going to favor Michigan and what they're able to do on the ground, although the best of Washington also features a pretty potent ground attack with both Damon Williams and Jonah Coleman. Washington doesn't win this game, more broadly speaking. They did everything they could for 3 full quarters to lose that Maryland game, and to their credit, came back and won that game. They needed to come back to beat Rutgers, who I actually think is secretly kind of scary. Maybe that's just the newly formed part of my Oregon brain.
We'll get to that in under the radar games. Don't worry.
I understand. Jed Fish does not prepare his team well to perform on the road, and you add a body clock element to this, and I just don't like Washington. I think this is likely the second best offense that, or the best offense, who knows, that Michigan will have faced up to this point. But I don't trust this defense on the road. I think they can be pushed around. I think they're going to come out lethargic.
Spoken like a true Oregon fan. Listen to you.
Have you not watched Washington on the road? Even their win against Wazoo. So I'm not talking Big Ten right now. It was a not great defensive performance for at least 3 quarters of that game.
Excuse me, Dan. Have you seen the reports that Florida might fire Billy Napier as soon as this weekend? Jed Fish, man, this is his audition to get that job that he's always wanted. Are you kidding me?
Well, then maybe he's been distracted behind the scenes interviewing.
Well, that's entirely possible as well. I'm inclined to take him outright now that I know that there could be an opening. I know he wants it.
Sure.
We all know he wants it.
You hear that, Sharps? Ty Hildenbrandt, Mr. Constantly Wrong, is tempted to take Washington outright.
Yeah. Maybe take Michigan.
I haven't seen Washington ever prepared under Jed Fish, and I know they improve weekly, to win this game, this kind of game, a road game against a quality team, especially with a body clock situation. I just think the deck is stacked against the Huskies here. I think they're good. I think they're clearly improved this year. I think their offense at its best, like the second half against Rutgers last week, was a thrill ride. If you're a Washington fan watching Damon Williams bomb it downfield, take off on runs, it was a singular performance for them at quarterback. But I just think the spot is a little bit too difficult and a little bit too big for how Washington has played these past couple of years. So I'm going Michigan to cover this one, 27-17.
Also at high noon, Dan, I'm just going to play this. Baylor at TCU, the over-under is 66. I might bet the over if it were like 86.
Sure.
I don't think we're going to see any defense in this game. TCU is at home. They're favored by 3. I'd be lying if I said I had a strong lean one way or the other. I think Baylor's the better team right now.
Do you?
I guess. I don't know. TCU plays no pass defense. Baylor doesn't really play defense either. But I don't know. Just give me the points in Baylor. I have no idea. I'd be lying truly if I said I feel strongly one way or the other.
I'm going to go TCU to barely cover this one, 45-41. I think there's enough there. Playing at home, obviously it's always a big emotional spot, this matchup. So I'm going TCU. The defensive issues are very real. I'm not there with Baylor closing out this game.
3:30 ACC Network, SMU smooth on the road at Clemson. Clemson is favored by 9.5 points. Stan, who you got?
Cade Klubnik hurt. So even if he plays, there was some sort of like Dabo saying I'm feeling pretty good that he's going to be able to ramp up and play this game. I'm paraphrasing there. I don't love that. I don't love that with that number. So I'm going to go SMU plus the points in a fun back and forth, not a shootout per se, but I don't know. It depends on Cade Klubnik's health, I guess. But I don't know what Clemson has done, even with an SMU team whose defense has taken a step back and doesn't run the ball like they were able to last year. I'm still like 27-24 someone.
I'm actually going to go Clemson.
Okay.
I think they've looked really good the last 2 weeks, albeit against UNC and Boston College.
Correct.
But it looked to me like after the bye week, they played better.
Okay.
And the point spread is 9.5. It's a lot. And so if there were real injury concerns or concerns otherwise about Clemson's ability to distance themselves against SMU, I would expect it to show up there as a 9.5 point line. That kind of doesn't make sense.
Right.
So I'm going to steer into it. I'm going to go Clemson. I don't fully get it, but I do like what we have seen with Clemson post bye week. So give me Clemson minus the number.
As long as they're playing terrible, broken teams. And I don't think SMU is that. Clemson's good. Okay.
7:45 because the SEC Network loves to be different. Number 16, Mizzou on the road at Auburn. Auburn is a 2-point home underdog.
Yeah.
Dan Rubenstein.
This is another DePodesta game, right?
It kind of is, right?
Yeah.
Are you feeling that too?
Okay. I just stared at my computer screen when I saw this number, and then I just started thinking about this game. I went back and watched Auburn, Georgia again. I went back and watched Mizzou, Alabama game again. And I can't do it with Auburn again. I can't do it. I can't stomach the coaster.
Do it, Dan. Do it.
I can't do it, and this is why.
Become Wrath. Do it.
I think Auburn is special. I think they are.
I got to write this down.
Please write it down.
Is this special as in the AD talking about Hugh Freeze kind of being like a jalopy that sometimes starts and sometimes doesn't?
This is special as in like you've been reassigned to a special project, and that's the only titling you're going to know about for a little bit.
Right. It's a code name. You may or may not have the clearance. You can't tell your friends about it.
Yeah.
Special access type thing.
Auburn as a home dog in front of a raucous crowd, and it's going to be less raucous than it was last week, even though this is at night, yes?
Yep, 7:45. They like to be different.
I know. This is Mizzou's first road game too, right?
I believe so, yeah.
It is Mizzou's first time on the road this season.
Insane.
I've called Hugh Freeze an elite loser, and I think I'm going to stick with it. If he were just a standard level loser, I would take Auburn here. But the eliteness of the ways in which Auburn can find ways to lose, I think has to be appreciated here. I'm going to go Mizzou outright, and I'm going to go against the coaster here. Auburn is just that special project to me. They're that outlier. I'm going Mizzou here. I think they're going to find ways to move the ball occasionally. I think it's going to be relatively low scoring. I have it as 21-16 Mizzou.
I was also staring at the computer screen when I researched this one, and I researched it.
Can't do it.
Late at night, laying in bed with the laptop open. And in that vulnerable moment, I jotted down Crouching Tiger, Hidden Auburn. And I don't know why.
Okay.
But I'm going to go with it. I think this is the one that Auburn gets.
Oh, man.
I think this is the one. I do. 3 straight losses to Oklahoma, A&M, and Georgia, all of which were pretty close games, right?
Yep.
I think Mizzou is in a prime letdown spot right now. Had that game against Alabama. They had an opportunity to win it.
Yeah.
I think Auburn is good enough as a rush defense. I think they could do a lot of the same stuff that Bama did. Force Bo Perbula into some new situations. I think it's ugly.
Oh.
I don't particularly want to watch this game.
Yeah.
I'm going to be watching Notre Dame at the same time, so I'll already be breathing into a paper bag. I think Auburn wins ugly. I think it's 23-21. I think the Tigers finally
Don't
get
do
one
this
here.
to yourself.
I think they get it.
Auburn,
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Auburn. Come on.
Auburn is an amendment to my home dog danstitution that it applies to all teams except Auburn at this point. My credo. So, yeah, I'm going
Let's
Mizzou here.
travel back in time, Dan.
Boo-doo-doo, boo-doo-doo, boo-doo-doo.
7 p.m., ESPN, Friday Night Lights. Louisville on the road at number 2 Miami.
Whoa.
Miami favored by 13.5 points, Dan.
Yeah.
Did Jeff Brom pull the biggest upset of the year? Can he win this one? Can he knock Miami from the number 2 pedestal? Throw the ACC into disarray, Dan?
I don't think so, no.
No?
Equal
Come on.
rest, right?
Equal rest.
Both of these teams coming off a bye.
Yep.
I actually looked up on 3 different websites Miami traffic patterns for this preview. Just
Okay.
because a Friday night outside of the city,
Oh, my God. Traffic in Miami is bad as
It's
is,
real
let alone
bad.
on a Friday night.
so getting to this stadium by 7 p.m. during rush hour, I think the diehards will. I think the diehards will, be there early tailgating, and they'll be in there, no problem. I just think it's going to be a weird, not weirdly empty, but I think there'll be patches of seats early on in this game because
Okay.
of that. Not because of any dedication of Miami fans, just because Miami traffic patterns.
What time would you have to leave in order to get there?
I have no
Did you-
idea. I'm not an
you didn't-
expert, but
Okay,
4
you
to
didn't
7
figure that
p.m. is what I saw as being extremely dense. And who knows extremely dense better than Dan Rubenstein?
That's right. That's exactly right.
I'm going Louisville here to cover. I think their defense is such that it should be a really fun trench matchup when Miami has the ball with their terrific offensive line. And Louisville has done a great job on getting pressure on the quarterbacks. Now, you look at their schedule, it's not incredible, but there is something about Louisville's defense here that makes me think they can keep it relatively close. I don't think they have the firepower on offense to win this game. I think Miami's really, really good. I'm a believer in Miami, but I think that's too many points. I'm going to say, I don't know, 27-19, 24-18. Something. I think it's between a 6 and 10 point win for the Canes here. I think it's too many. I don't think their offense has the supreme, consistent, complete pop all of the time. Obviously, we've seen the pop from the young receivers. I just think it's been a step down since last year, which kind of course it is because that was a historic Miami offense last year. So I think really good, just not a lethal force right now.
I tend to give Jeff Brom the benefit of the doubt in big games because he's actually been pretty good in these spots. He hasn't always won them.
The spoiler
But-
maker?
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't get out coached in these types of matchups. He may not have the
Okay.
manpower to pull the upset, but his teams are just always very ready. The issue for me is that Miami's defensive line just makes everybody look bad.
Yes.
And LSU's offensive line was already sort of in question here, which probably translates, I think, to more pressure on Miller Moss. him having to make quick decisions. I think his ratio this year is 7-4, touchdown to interception. I mean, we've seen a lot of the same stuff with him forcing balls in like he did at USC. So I'm not there on Louisville pulling the upset, even though I like Louisville, generally speaking. I think they cover, but I think it's like 31-21. Miami wins at home.
Okay.
Let's talk about some under-the-radar games, Dan.
Let's.
And I'm going to tell you why I put each of these on this list, okay?
Okay.
3:30 ESPN. It is Texas A&M, the number 4 team in the country now, on the road at Arkansas. A&M favored by 7 on the road, Dan.
Yes.
I think Bobby Petrino wants that job.
I'm sure he does.
I know he wants that job. There were rumors weeks ago that Bobby Petrino was angling for the interim job because he wanted the full-time job. Wants a shot at redemption in Fayetteville.
Yeah.
To that point, though, had the bye week, played well against Tennessee. A&M could be in a look-ahead spot. They've got their game against LSU on deck, which is a rivalry that most people don't talk about. Could we see the Hogs here winning, covering at home against A&M?
I say yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
My guy.
Well, think about this.
There he is.
Think about this matchup. This game has largely been, in recent years, what it's been in Jerry World, and now it's back to home sites.
Correct.
Game's generally weird. Even when a team wins by 10, you're like, that score doesn't make sense given the back and forth of this game. We've had a lot of weird endings. This matchup in general is just a game that the universe likes playing tricks on.
Yes.
So I'm happy to take the points in Fayetteville. I think Texas A&M likely wins this game. I just think it's going to be a weird back and forth. And the pattern we've come to appreciate with Bobby Petrino as a head coach is things are good until they go disastrously wrong. I still think we're in that good phase right now with looking competitive, running really well against Tennessee, giving themselves a shot to beat Tennessee last week. I'm going to go Arkansas here to cover this game as sort of a last hurrah, and maybe things are about to go disastrously bad for Arkansas. I just think there is a pain quotient to what Arkansas can inflict for a good amount of this game, but Texas A&M is just the better team for 4 quarters. So Aggies win, Arkansas keeps it close.
I'm with you. 4:15 SEC Network, because they like to be different with the times, you know.
Of course.
Mississippi State on the road at Florida. Florida favored by 8.5 points. Now, the big story, and this has just been coming out over the last 12 hours or so, is that there is apparently a lot of motion behind the scenes down at Florida. I cannot report this with any kind of authority, as you know, but this is just me reading stuff online, now being reported by Yahoo Sports, among others, that Florida could move to fire Napier as soon as this weekend. So with that being said, I don't know what the motivation level is going to be on behalf of the Florida Gators. I don't know what that's going to look like from a player standpoint, from a coaching standpoint. But I do know this, Mississippi State is a pain in the ass.
Yep.
I would think that if Florida gives a rip, the passing game will be there for DJ Lagway. But this is a really good Mississippi State team that is definitely upset-minded. They do not get a ton of pressure, but they have played really, really well this season. I think given all the atmospherics here, we got to go Mississippi State, right?
I'm going Mississippi State. And here, I mean, limited sample size sport. But here's what we know about Florida this season. That they can get up for a game against a marquee opponent after a bye. Mississippi State in the SEC does not qualify as a marquee opponent. Have been a great story this season, are definitely of good quality this season, but that's not a preseason circle this one. Can't wait to play it. Whereas Texas is. And I don't mean any disrespect when I say that. I don't think the vibes are good. I don't think Florida is locked in, especially after last week. And as overbearing in a good way as the swamp can be, I just don't think the vibes are enough to overcome. So I think Mississippi State here, likely outright over Florida.
Let's go to 6:30, Big Ten Network. Number 8, Oregon.
Yeah.
Your Ducks on the road, 17-point favorites against the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. You elected to not come on over here. I would have driven and watched this game with you if you wanted.
How long of a drive? I still have time.
hour 15, maybe hour and a half.
Okay.
If that.
Yep.
Depends on traffic. We might have to look at traffic patterns.
Yeah.
But does Oregon have the firepower if they get into a shootout with Ethan Kaliak-Manis?
They have the potential. Okay. So Oregon may be underrated in this moment because of their performance against Indiana. But here's the thing that worries me about Oregon right now. There are small quibbles. Everything that they struggled with is fixable against the rest of their schedule. May not be fixable if they play Indiana next week, but against the rest of their schedule, they can improve upon what went wrong, especially on offense against Indiana. The concerning thing to me is this would have been a really nice spot if you're an Oregon fan to play a game in Eugene, Oregon.
Yes.
To play against Wisconsin, to play against Minnesota, to play against, Washington, USC, whoever. That you're still in Eugene, you're working it through, whatever. I don't know how many people out there think to themselves, wow, that was a horrible Saturday. Guess it's time to fly to Newark, right? Across the country. So Rutgers has moved the ball well. This has been a nice year for Ethan Kaliak-Manis. As they've run the ball well. They've got big receivers. They've moved the ball against everyone. Now, Washington came back and had a great second half last week, but they moved the ball against Iowa. They moved the ball against, I believe, Minnesota. So Oregon's a different animal. They're a different beast. They're better than those teams. They're better than the teams Rutgers has faced on their schedule. I'm just not giving those points on the road. I think Oregon wins this game. I don't think it's especially competitive in the second half, but something like 33-21, Oregon wins.
I'm going to ask you a question about 5 other games on
Do you
the
agree?
slate
Do you
this
disagree?
week.
Are you taking the points or are you giving them?
Oh, I'm giving the points. You kidding me?
There is, okay, so I would say in my mind, it is likelier that Oregon wins semi-comfortably, but I think the second outcome is Oregon winning by 57.
I mean, we could talk till we're blue in the face about Rutgers putting up points and yards on pretty much everybody. They haven't played a lick of defense.
No, they have not.
So no, I'm laying the points.
Okay, next game.
I'm going to ask you a question about 5 other games this week.
Okay.
And I want you to answer the question. And if you want to provide a pick, you can do that too. But 7 p.m. on Peacock.
Yeah.
My Penn State Nittany Lions on the road at Iowa. This hell of a matchup that we do not speak of in this house.
Right.
Iowa favored by 2.5 points. The over is 39.5. Will they hit the over?
39.5?
39.5. Penn State without James Franklin, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Without Drew Aller, obviously. It's an Ethan Grunkemeyer game.
Yeah.
Iowa is now favored. Will they hit the over 39.5?
So it's like a can they win this game 22-19 kind of thing?
That's exactly right, dog.
I say yes.
Oh, this is going under.
This
is
say
so under.
yes.
This is so under.
I'm looking at the weather.
This is going to be like 13-9. Somebody wins.
You think so? They scored
I
points
do.
against Wisconsin. So they get a Wisconsin team that's reeling, struggling on offense, and is likely going to move on from their head coach. And they beat him by 37.
I'm just
Hold
telling
on.
you.
Hold on.
This is 13-9 in favor of somebody.
37-0 does not cover a 39.5 point number. So that got me thinking. I have no idea what to think of. Ethan Grunkemeyer, is that what you said his name is?
Grunkemeyer, yeah.
I think Iowa wins this game. I think Iowa covers this game. But I don't think it hits the over. I have it 23-13.
They can't make this low enough. They can't.
Man, how many? I mean, UCLA scored a bunch of points. Northwestern scored
13-9, I'm telling you. That's the final score of this game.
Man, if Penn State is truly checked out on both sides of the ball, they're not going to score.
See, this is what everybody has missed about the Penn State thing.
Yeah.
And it gives me like a nervous tick when I read about this online.
Yeah.
And I get the argument. Obviously, I get the argument. I've made the argument, right, about James Franklin, and the guy wins, and it's tough to part ways with a guy who wins that much, and you pay out all the money. And like, I totally get that argument. The sport is in a very weird place right now.
Yeah.
I understand that very, very much. These guys were checked out. That's why he got fired now. Okay? He got fired now because the team is checked out.
Right.
So it shouldn't be a surprise now that Iowa's favored. They probably would have been favored even if James Franklin were still there.
So forget the game total over. What is the over for Penn State's point total specifically?
13.
13 flat? Okay.
Yes. And I hope I'm wrong. But new quarterback, they'll probably run a lot. Iowa's going to know that they're running a lot. This is going to be a terrible football game. This game is always terrible, okay?
Yeah.
Don't watch this game. Don't sign up for Peacock because of this game. Sign up for, something else.
Well, like all of SNL is on Peacock. There's a good archive
Watch
there.
that. Don't watch this.
Okay.
But that's why they fired him. They're checked out. This is going to be a horrible game.
By the way, sidebar, offer stands. James Franklin, we give you your own podcast. We pay you $38,000 a year. So Penn State is on the hook for $7.9 million of offset income. And you can tell some stories. And we have a grand old time. You'll sound great. Ty will make sure of it.
I will make sure of it. Yeah.
Ty will fly down to whatever your private island becomes in the Caribbean and set up your AV stuff. And we're all happy.
Yeah. We'll buy him a Roadcaster Pro.
We'll call the show Let's Be Frank with James Franklin.
Yep.
And he just...
the offer stands.
Offer stands. We'll pay you as little money as you want so that you have to bleed Penn State dry for all of your buyout money.
And I'm saying this as an alum.
Yeah.
I will pay you $1.
That's
we'll sign up.
You got to pay market rate for a new podcast, which is $17.
$17. Okay.
Yeah.
7 p.m. FS1, Maryland at UCLA. UCLA is favored by 3.5 points.
Yeah.
The reason that I jotted this down and the question I have for you is this is a yes or no question.
Yeah.
In your view, is this or is this not a sneaky fun matchup?
I don't think it will be. I think UCLA is going to tear them apart.
Really?
The unbeatable force that is the UCLA Bruins all of a sudden. Maryland has lost 2 heartbreakers in a row and is now going to fly across the country to play in front of, well, actually there'll be more people than usual because I think the Southland is appreciating the unbeatable force that is UCLA football, perhaps more than they were before. So UCLA wins this game 27-13.
27-13.
Yeah.
By the way, do you know that if UCLA were to win all of its remaining games, they would finish first in the Big Ten standings?
If UCLA wins all of its remaining games, because they lost early to Utah and New Mexico.
That's right.
And who have they lost to in the Big Ten?
Well, here's where I'm going with this is there are a couple games left against important opponents.
Yeah.
They've got a game this week against Maryland.
I guess they only have one Big Ten loss.
That's right.
They've only lost to Northwestern. Oh, okay. Continue.
They have a game against Indiana next week.
That's going to be a toughie.
That's gonna be
At
tough,
Indiana,
okay?
in Bloomington.
At Indiana, it's going to be tough. Then they're on bye. First week of November, they're at home against Nebraska.
Okay.
Second week of November, they're on the road at Ohio State.
Okay.
Not easy, but it's Jerry Neuheisel, right?
Agree.
He's found magic.
Yeah.
November 21st, they are at home against Washington. And then rivalry weekend, I guess last weekend of November, they've got the game against USC.
Okay.
Even if they don't win out, even if they don't beat Ohio State, which doesn't seem likely.
Yeah.
But let's say they go to Indiana and pull an upset. UCLA would finish in the top half of the Big Ten. They'd be like 4th per the tiebreaker if all the other projections go as such.
Yes.
So this is a very long way of saying that UCLA has seemingly pulled itself together pretty nicely now after firing Deshaun Foster. I don't know what happens to this program moving forward, but at least in the short term, UCLA is an interesting story. And I think it's a sneaky fun matchup, if only because they are involved here. And I like Maryland. Maryland, I think, has had a really good season too, but traveling cross country, UCLA's got the wind at their back for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I tend to think that they will win this one going away as well.
So UCLA has Nebraska a week after Nebraska plays USC, and that UCLA-Nebraska game is in LA. UCLA has Washington a week before Washington plays Oregon, and they have a week before. Yes, UCLA has Washington a week before Washington plays Oregon, and UCLA plays USC a week after USC plays Oregon.
Yeah.
So there is a little bit of letdown look aheadness to UCLA's drive for 6. I don't think they're going to get there, but 5-7 after starting 0-4.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
That's right. 10:30 in the hinterlands. Florida State traveling all the way out to Stanford. They're a 17.5-point favorite. Is there any cause for pause or favorite pet charity here for the Florida State Seminoles on the road?
I mean, what has Florida State done on the road to make you feel good about them being a 17.5-point favorite against anybody?
Yeah. Okay.
I mean,
fair enough.
Or what have they done recently? I mean, they lose to Virginia on the road in double overtime. They lose to an excellent Miami team, and they lose close in ugly fashion defensively to Pitt. I think Stanford's winning this game.
Winning the game?
I think Stanford's winning this game.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm not going that far, but I think there's cause for pause here.
Dude, I think vibes are very quietly bad. They're just overshadowed by the vibes at Florida right now. Yeah, things are bad, man.
All right. Finally, let's get these out of the way here and then go about our lives, Dan.
Okay.
We've got an 8 p.m. game Friday night on Fox. It is number 25, Nebraska and future Penn State coach Matt Rule in what appears to be a raucous environment on the road at Minnesota in a losable spot. They are a 8.5-point road favorite here, Dan. Who you got?
This is Nebraska in a letdown spot, second straight game on the road against a Minnesota team. So it's second straight road game out after a heartbreaking loss, short week.
That's right.
I'm going Minnesota here, at least to cover here. I'll take the points.
I've got
happily.
Minnesota covering too. Yeah, I've got that.
I don't think Minnesota's terrific, but I think they can cover this game.
And then last but not least, also I believe on Friday night, or maybe not Friday night. I guess this isn't Friday night, but 10:30 ESPN. Speaking of the hinterlands,
yeah,
it is North Carolina, a 10-point dog on the road against Cal. The only reason I bring this one up, does Cal put the final nail in the Belichick coffin here?
I've been
assured. Do they win this one going away? Do they finally get Bill Belichick out of town?
Well, the question is Cal losing to Cal in a demonstrable fashion, is that embarrassing enough to pay dozens upon dozens of millions of dollars to get rid of Bill Belichick? I don't think they're getting rid of Bill Belichick if they lose to Cal. By 90, I don't think they're getting rid of Bill Belichick this week. So I like Cal here, but I don't think it's a nail in the coffin.
So look, your window of opportunity is early. Do it before 4 p.m. Eastern time. Go out, be amongst the people, go apple picking, go to the pumpkin patch with the little ones.
Yes.
Go see cats if that's something that you're into, if you're over in Germany, where I believe it is circulating right now.
Right.
We did have somebody who did see a neighborhood showing of cats on a Saturday send us a picture earlier on in the season. So it's just not on Broadway, but it is going to make a comeback in 2026.
Okay. Love to hear it.
But do it early before 4 p.m. Eastern time because I think it gets a little bit weird. Now, what's interesting, though, with respect to the quads.
Now, my question to you is how bad do you really want
It's a little bit of a question of what is your appetite for college football in week 8? On this Sigma Saturday, right? The window is early, but you could also argue that the best quad is early because you can put a quad together that features every conference. You can put a quad together early that features LSU, Vandy, Georgia Tech, Duke, Baylor, TCU, and Washington, Michigan. With the option, if you're ever so inclined, to go Oklahoma, South Carolina. Again, SEC Network game, they like to be a little bit different. It starts 45 minutes later. But you can still build that quad if you are interested. A bunch of interesting matchups in that early block.
I love that.
Dan Rubenstein, good show today. Covered a lot of ground. Sigma Saturday. How do we spell that again?
SIKMA. You got to watch some highlights, man. Sigma Saturday, Jack Sigma, : secure the rebound. By the way, I'm going to rifle real quick. Arizona, Houston. There's a drive for 6 quotient to that. I think Houston can win that game. Arizona with a heartbreaking loss last week. UConn, BC. I think UConn can win that game. Absolutely on the road. BC is a nightmare right now, and UConn's been playing quality football. We have Army Tulane, which is a rematch of the American Championship last year. I like that one. That's in New Orleans. Tulane, kind of a heavy favorite. Northwestern, Purdue, in my backyard. Northwestern, opportunity to stack wins after pulling the upset last week against Penn State, but in a letdown spot after beating Penn State. Michigan State, Indiana. Indiana's not losing this game, but this is a letdown of letdown spots. And Indiana doesn't let down. They don't let down. but I'm just saying for anybody else to potentially. Hawaii at Colorado State. Colorado State actually looked pretty good last week. Hawaii's been very quietly decent. And I don't think I'm going to underscore this once again. This is a reverse body clock game for Florida State. 10:30 body time kickoff? It's not quite, I guess, where Michigan State was against USC, but it's a longer flight from Florida State to LA than it is from, I assume, somewhere in Michigan to LA. So, my God, I love Stanford there. Also, I love dropping that big, stanky, pressing, caressing drum and fife.
Pressing and caressing. Oh, baby, oh, baby, oh, baby.
Yes, sir.
1 p.m. ESPN Plus. The Bucknell Bison at 4-3 on the road at Cornell. The Nellies tipping the scales at, says here, 0-4.
0-4.
Wow.
I'm not riding that roller coaster either.
I got to go Nellies.
Yeah, well, this is Nell Classico, right?
It is Nell Classico, yeah.
So I'm going Bucknell on the road to win Nell Classico.
Number one. Number one in our hearts. 1-5 in the record books. Fordham 1-5 at home against Dartmouth. Dan, Dartmouth is 3-1. 1 p.m. ESPN Plus.
Yeah.
Upset? Let's go Fordham.
No, I'm going Mouthies. The Ivy is a little bit more special than the vaunted Pat League this year.
1 p.m. ESPN Plus. Colgate 2-4 on the road, multi-sport field.
Yeah.
Squaring off against the Georgetown Hoyas, who are 3-3. Dan.
This is going to be a gray out, I believe, for George. I have no idea. Georgetown by 17.
2 p.m. ESPN Plus. Holy Cross 0-6. The Spiders of Richmond.
Yeah.
4-3.
Let's go Richmond here, big.
I too am going with the Spiders.
Man,
and last but not least,
who the hell did Holy Cross hire after having Bob Chesney go to JMU? Isn't that where he came from?
He came from Holy Cross.
Yeah. Woof.
And last but not least, as I speak in hushed, revered tones.
Yeah.
10 p.m. on C-Dub.
Okay.
I'm not making that up on the document. This is true.
Yeah.
The Lafayette Leopards, 5-2, traveling all the way across the US of A on the road at Oregon State, which just fired their coach.
Correct.
Which begs the question if Lafayette could win this game.
There is a betting line, according to oddsshark.com, Ty. Do you have a guess?
28.5.
Oregon State is favored by 22.5.
Okay.
Oh, man. Lafayette's going to lose big. But I'm intrigued by that number.
I am intrigued by the number as well.
Yeah. And that's a body clock game, too. Easton to Corvallis. How many airports? What kind of travel schedule is that?
Well, they're probably flying out of Philly. I have to imagine they're flying out of Philly.
Okay, so it's an hour plus to get to Philly from Easton? And then Portland.
But I mean, there's no direct flight, right? I mean, it's Portland.
No, you're flying to Portland. I guess you could fly to Eugene if you're flying from somewhere closer, but I don't there's definitely no Philly to Eugene flight. So
and then how far is it from Portland to Pullman?
Not Pullman, to Corvallis.
Or Corvallis, excuse me. I'm getting my
like
Pac-12
an
teams mixed
hour,
up.
depending on traffic, an hour 45 to Eugene. It's a little bit northwest of Eugene. So I'm going to say, I mean, you can look in Google Maps as I'm buying time here. It's under 2 hours. So it's probably an hour 45, hour 50, somewhere in there.
Good Lord.
That's a journey. And they're not going to be, they're probably not staying in Corvallis. They're probably staying somewhere with bigger hotels.
They can't give out the location of the hotel because then
it's going to be rocking.
Yeah, the Beaver fans will pull the fire alarms and stuff at 3 a.m.
You want any more Jack Sikma thoughts?
I don't. I have to look up who this guy is.
He is unbelievable. An unbelievable player.
I still can't believe you tried to spell
secure the rebound.
How to secure the rebound. I know that.
You said, how do you spell that? I went and spelled it out, but you didn't respond at all. It was great. Oh, it's a good moment for me.
You're playing for a $150 Patagonia gift card this week and run the board. Go to verballers.com, sign up, play in the game. The winner gets the gift card. We gave out a $500 Visa card last week. The race is heating up for our board of trustees. We need to get a board meeting on the books here because we
Yeah.
promised our board that we would do a mid-season check-in.
Okay, here we are.
So you and I, we'll talk offline. We'll figure that out.
Yes.
I'll send out an invite to the board. But if you're listening, board, know that we love you. We cherish your input.
Yeah.
And we will be sending out a Zoom invite at some point soon.
Can't wait.
Enjoy your week 8, one and all. Again, verballers.com to help us keep the lights on. Follow or subscribe if you or a friend or just somebody out there in the college football ether is looking for a good college football show. That's what we're here for.
Yes.
For that guy over there, my good friend Dan Rubenstein, for myself, Ty Hildenbrand, thank you for downloading, for listening, for supporting. We'll talk to you all on Saturday night on the live stream. In the meantime, stay solid.
Peace.